No women nor children were killed.
Wait, you having trouble working your phone, Dave?
No problem at all.
And I was 14, so I ran upstairs. I got my 22 rifle, I got my knife and put it on my belt, and I ran downstairs. I was like, let's fucking go. And my mom slapped me across the face.
Why you shaking?
He's starting to feel goofy as fuck. He's like, oh wait, this guy, he's kind of funny. He's just cracking jokes on me. It's almost like he's just another guy.
So we left.
He just doesn't have white skin.
Fled Zimbabwe and came
I'm starting
to
be a little
with,
insecure about my decisions here.
Story is not the
like he thought he was just gonna go booga 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 black man. It's like that's what he thought was gonna happen. Instead, bro's getting cooked. It's hilarious. Hey man, I like you. I like you.
Seizing land from the original people, indigenous people of the country. But we agreed at Lancaster House that
When the first white settlers trekked in about 90 years ago, they were not unlike the American settlers who impressed the world. The idea of the little house on the prairie is as African as it is American.
Dave, you something else, man.
This is
Working man, come on, man. Take your hands up, man.
Let me take everything.
The white elites have created this culture war for you to be angry at the people who ain't never fucking tried to fuck with you ever.
Desire.
You know, I'm not saying there's never been a white person who's been victimized by a black person, but all you gotta do is look at the statistics, man. Over 80% of violent assaults and murders and rapes that happen to white people happen at the hands of white people. Maybe not rapes.
Toward a nation that stands tall in history.
It's more like 60-something% when it comes to rapes or something like that. Well, the point is, it's still the grand majority, and the rest isn't all black people.
To develop in peace.
The point is, the grand majority of your problems is being caused by your own people.
To thrive.
Niggas ain't trying to fuck with you, man. Niggas ain't trying.
For generations, Zimbabweans lived on their land with dignity.
If you can't afford shit, man, you got to take that up with your representatives.
Long before colonization. The people of Zimbabwe built thriving communities, rich agricultural systems, and strong cultural traditions that held families together and the nation together.
He was like, he got me on camera.
Land was more than soil. It was identity, security, and the foundation of the Zimbabwean
I'm going to finish my job before the sun go down.
When colonization dispossessed the majority,
got a point, but I feel like
tore apart
there's just kind of
this
like a
balance.
Mind
Land
thing with them. Like when they see you not
though
mad at the
difficult
racism,
and
bro, and you make a joke
imperfectly
out of it, it
executed,
irritates them. You know, because they're not,
became an
you're not
imperative
coming off as a
act
typical,
of restoring
stereotypical,
justice.
angry black male. You know what I'm saying? So I
A
understand these
necessary
interactions. You know,
step toward
I understand why they act like
reclaiming
that.
But the black
what was
man,
lost
he's so black
and
people are so
rebuilding
emotional.
ownership, pride,
The fuck?
and economic
Where?
independence.
This comment right here
for
says
the
it perfectly. Say,
people
I would
of
because it's fun
Zimbabwe.
to entertain their prejudices. In my
There is
opinion, it's
danger
hilarious to
in
piss
the
off a race.
single
That's what I'm saying.
narrative.
Like, for me, I don't know. That's just me. Like I said, I grew up in an
Where
era
one story
playing online where
becomes
people were
the
just
only
racist as hell to me.
story.
So it's like, if I hear the N-word, it doesn't really do anything.
There was
If I
a
hear,
land reform era in the early 2000s,
it's
late
funny,
90s,
bro.
early
I'll be like,
2000s
y'all
in
is dumb
Zimbabwe,
as hell in the
where
brain.
people
You know,
can come and
you're
take
dumb
your
as
land
hell.
with
You
guns.
mad at me
Some white
because
farmers have
I
said
don't burn up in the
that if you do take the land without compensation, that amounts to just
Your skin-
state-sanctioned robbery.
Well, that's exactly what they did themselves.
So this is a follow-up
When they
video.
do it, the question of human rights is not raised.
I guess he ended up
When
letting
we
me finish
do
the
it, the
word.
question of human rights is raised. It's a question of justice.
Man, we pals, man. Don't do me like that, man.
And so we had all of our neighbors killed,
Man.
murdered, tortured.
Human rights reports documented 12 total fatalities
Come on,
among
Dave, you my
white
pal,
farmers
man.
in
Come on, man.
Zimbabwe
Man, you
during
better
the
stop
land
playing with him. He
occupation.
about to
Don't do me like that, Dave.
Fucking KKK on your ass, boy.
Third,
Someone
and
commented,
my
did
dad
you
was out
get
of
to
the
finish
picture,
your
so it was
work?
just
He
me,
said
my
yes.
mother,
So, you know,
and my little
it'd be
sister
for
living on
no
this farm in
reason,
rural
bro.
Africa.
No reason at all.
One day,
Just to bother
they
people.
came and
And
knocked
this
on our
brother
door,
handled
they
it
had guns.
perfectly. This is how you
And I
have to
think
handle these
because it was a single mother
interactions,
with
okay?
two
Don't
kids,
play
instead of just
into it.
killing us
Don't
on
get
the
mad.
spot, they were like,
You know what
"You
I'm
have
saying?
24
Keep your
hours to leave
guard
or we're
up, you know,
taking
but also don't take it serious, bro. They have mental problems. Hey, anyway though, man, that's it for
Yeah, man. They're
No
just,
women
they're
nor
angry.
children were
They're
killed.
dying. They're sad. You know what I think pisses them off the most?
And I was 14, so I ran upstairs, I
black
got my
people
22
have
rifle, I got my
constantly
knife
been
and put it on my
progressing in
belt,
this
and I ran
country,
downstairs.
and
Let's
it's not hard to
fucking
do
go.
that when you
My
start
mom
at
slapped me
literally
across
rock
the face, and
bottom.
she's like, "Back your things."
And the
again,
other guys,
car.
they had everything fucking handed to them.
His mom knew
Mostly
they were
by us,
occupiers
if we're
on
going to keep it
stolen
1,000. But, you know what I'm saying? Their shit ain't really been moving like that.
So we
You know what I'm
left.
saying?
We
Because
fled
they are being
Zimbabwe and came to America
finessed.
with a couple $100.
But when you
story
start at
is not
such a
the full
low
story.
position, financially, economically, it ain't hard to keep making noticeable, significant progress. And so they not
Stealing
really
land
moving
from
up
the
like
original
they used
people,
to.
indigenous people of the country. But we agreed at Lancaster House that there would be that
I live in
When the
a
first white
suburban white
settlers
community.
trekked in about 90
I
years
know
ago,
it kills
they were
some of
not
these people.
unlike the American settlers who moved west
I'd
a
say it's
little
probably
earlier.
like
The idea of the
60%,
little house on the
70%
prairie
white people.
is as African as it is American.
And we got a few other black families.
Cecil Rhodes
And we got some
really is a
Latino
historical figure.
And
Another
but
hero.
of course,
Is
mostly
there
white
any
and I get
settlers
to
that
look
take
sometime,
anything
man.
by me?
You know, my neck is blasted.
Never-
You
this
feel
is
me?
never
I
done.
walk around,
It was
bro. You know what I'm
found
saying? I
means
walk around how I
also.
walk around. You feel me? And I be moving through my
Zimbabweans
neighborhood.
are a peaceful
on
and
some,
resilient
you know,
people.
exercising and shit.
Even in hardship,
And I get some looks.
they have remained
You know, I've
hopeful,
definitely hit
united, and
one of
determined
these
to build
and get
their
one of
own
these in
future.
response.
The dominant portrayals in mainstream
bothers them.
media
They're
often
like,
ignore this
damn,
truth.
I gotta be fucking up.
They overlook
If this
the
nigga is my
of the
neighbor, what the fuck?
communities,
How
the
he making as
strength
much money as
of
me?
the
How he
farmers,
affording to live in the
the
same suburb as
brilliance
me?
of the youth,
Nah.
and the deep
Fuck.
desire
Can I call ice on him?
for
What?
fairness,
No, he's a citizen.
development, and progress. Zimbabwe's
you don't gotta
story
be mad, bro.
is not
Just,
one of
you know, work
failure.
harder. Pull yourself
It
up
is
by the
one of
bootstraps. Go move into a
endurance,
richer neighborhood.
identity,
You won't have to see
and
me
the
no more. All white
ongoing
people ain't
journey
like this at all, though.
toward
There's
a
lot of nice
nation
white people,
that
white people,
stands
for sure,
tall in
that
history.
don't mind. But
Islam
y'all
and its
fucking up.
people
You're not holding these racists
and
accountable. You
Zimbabwean
just letting
people
that shit slide.
deserve to
You
develop
feel me? We
in
could be
peace
past this, but
with unity,
we all got to come
dignity,
together
and
fight the elites.
opportunity
Start
to
taxing
thrive.
them motherfuckers. Like
For
how we used to do in the
generations,
1930s.
Zimbabweans
FDR
lived on
style,
their land,
you know.
with
But hey, you let me know
dignity,
what you think in the comment section down
prosperity,
below. Thank you for
and
watching, and
harmony.
until next time.
Long before
Peace out.
colonization, the people of Zimbabwe built thriving communities, rich agricultural systems, and strong cultural traditions that held families together and the nation together. Land was more than soil. It was identity, security, and the
Indians
foundation
on the right are
of the
realizing what
Zimbabwean
black folks
people.
already
When colonization
knew. Video
dispossessed
by
the
the
majority,
amazing Lucas. Go
it
ahead
tore
and
apart this
hit that
balance.
like button for me.
Land
I really
reform,
wasn't about to say that,
though
but I don't
difficult
know why I started
and
the sentence with go
imperfectly
ahead.
executed,
All right, guys, let's go ahead and check this out. But
became
shit,
an
since I already said it,
imperative
might as well like the video
of
anyway.
restoring justice.
Oh my goodness.
A necessary
so, I'm
step
not gonna lie, I have a
toward
guilty pleasure, all right?
reclaiming
And
what
it
was
is a
lost
song. And
and
this song is
rebuilding
probably one of my
ownership,
favorite songs
pride,
that is playing
and
currently.
economic
And it's a song
independence
of
for
black
the
and brown
people
people
of Zimbabwe.
crying about how there are racists within the Republican Party.
Right?
I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
that is my favorite song of all time. And it just keeps on playing on repeat over and
There was a
over
land
and over
reform
and
era in the
over
early
again.
2000s,
Number
late 90s,
one
early
on the
2000s
Billboard
in
charts
Zimbabwe,
is going to
where,
be our
people could come
favorite
and take your
Indian.
land
That
and
is going to
stuff.
be
Some white farmers have said that
Now,
if you do
for
take the
those
land
who don't
without
know,
compensation, that
Dinesh
amounts to just
D'Souza
state-sanctioned
has built
robbery.
his, you know,
Well, that's
political
exactly what
career,
they did themselves.
basically on top
When
of,
they do it,
I would say
the question of human
Dinesh
rights is not
D'Souza
raised.
is to
When we do it,
Indians
the
what
question of
Candace
human
Owens
rights
is to
is
black
raised.
people.
It's a question of
Elite
justice.
level tap dancer, but also
And
intelligent.
so we had all
right?
of our
I wouldn't
neighbors
compare it to
killed,
Brandon
murdered,
Tatum. I don't think Brandon
Human
Tatum
rights
has the
reports documented 12
intellectual
total fatalities among white
abilities
farmers
of
in
a Candace
Zimbabwe
Owens
during the
or a
land
Dinesh D'Souza.
occupations.
But in terms of his commitment to the grift,
and
in
my dad
terms
was out
of
of the
going
picture.
to
So it's
crazy
just me,
lands,
my sister living on this
pro
farm in
Donald
rural
Trump
Africa.
movies. He
One
has
day,
tried to
they came
gaslight
knocked
the
on our
American
door, they
public
had
into
guns,
believing
and I think
that
because it was
the
a single
Southern
mother with 2 kids,
strategy
instead of just killing us on the
wasn't a
spot,
real thing,
they were
which
like,
is,
"You
of
have
course,
24
we
hours to
spoke
leave or
about
we're
that
taking you."
yesterday when Democrats and Republicans essentially flipped and the
No
progressives
women nor
moved into the
children were
Democrat
killed.
Party. And the racists moved into the
I was 14,
Republican
so I
Party.
ran
It was
upstairs, I
the
got my
other way
22 rifle, I got
before
my
that.
knife and put it on my belt, and I ran
Dinesh
downstairs,
D'Souza has
like,
put out a
"Let's
whole
fucking go."
movie trying
My
to
mom slapped me
explain
across
why
the face, and
the
she's like, "Pack your things and get in the
Southern
car."
strategy wasn't real.
This video
Because
is
mom knew
on
they were
Nixon's
occupiers
Southern
on stolen
strategy. And the importance of this strategy, according to the left, is that it was
So we
part
left,
of
we
a
fled
sneak
with,
dig
a couple $100
to
bucks.
win
The
over the
story is not the
racists
full
in the
story.
South and in the Democratic Party over to the Republican Party. Because think about it. If Nixon was appealing to the racists of the Deep South, how would he do that? he'd have to make racist statements.
Seizing land from the original people, indigenous people of the country. But we agreed at Lancaster House that there would be
When the first white settlers trekked in about 90 years ago, they were not unlike the American settlers who moved west a little earlier. The idea of the little house on the prairie is as African as it is American.
Let's think about this for
Cecil Rhodes really is a historical figure,
that is so
another hero.
only dogs.
Is there
apparently
any
Nixon was
settlers that take
communicating
anything
with
in
the
their family?
racists by making these
Never-
so-called
this is never
sounds that
done.
apparently the rest of us,
It was,
including the media,
found
could not
means
decipher. In
also.
fact, we couldn't even hear it. Only the racists with their dog
Zimbabweans are a
ears could figure
peaceful
out what
and
Nixon is saying.
resilient
I think you
people.
can see
Even
how
in
downright
hardship,
stupid this
they
is.
have remained hopeful, united, and determined to build their own future. The dominant portrayals in mainstream media often ignore this truth. They overlook the warmth of the communities, the strength of the farmers, the brilliance of the youth, and the deep desire for fairness, development, and progress. Zimbabwe's
Well, if you
story
realize
is
that the
not
Republican
one of
Party is the
failure.
party
It
for
is one of
racists, then how could you ever
identity,
how could you ever sign up
and the ongoing
to some shit
journey
like that, even if
toward
you
a
agree
nation
with some of
that
their
stands tall in
policies,
history,
right?
its
So
land,
this is why they try
and
to
its
rewrite
people.
history.
The death of
Zimbabwean
black people,
people
okay? That is what he
deserve
is.
to
Nothing
develop
more
in
than
peace
a token Indian
with
on the
unity,
Republican right. To
dignity,
bolster,
and the
racism, to
opportunity
bolster
to thrive.
anti-black racism, to bolster white
generations,
nationalism, to bolster white supremacy,
Zimbabweans
to
live
bolster
on
everything
their
that is
land
wrong with this country.
with
That's what he has been. He has been
and
a
harmony.
racist little
Long
Indian
before
attack dog, okay?
colonization,
If they needed someone
the
who
people
wasn't
of
black
Zimbabwe
to approve
built
of,
thriving communities,
George Floyd or something, or say
rich
that it was
agricultural
fentanyl,
systems,
they would get little
and
Dinesh to
strong
come out and
cultural
go and attack.
traditions
Okay,
Yeah.
if they
that
needed a
held
policy that
families
would have negatively
together
impacted
and the
people,
nation
they'll get
together.
little Dinesh to come out
Land
and
was
attack.
more
If
than
they needed a
soil.
movie or propaganda,
It was
Dinesh was
identity,
really big when it came to
security,
movies and put out propaganda.
and the
He did like
foundation
40 Mules or
of
something
the
like that. I remember when they were talking about,
Zimbabwean
oh, the election was
when
stolen, the election was stolen.
colonization
Well,
dispossessed
Dinesh,
the majority.
I don't think this man could be
It
any
tore
more of an
apart
evangelist
this
for
balance.
white supremacy.
Land
The amount of
reform,
tap dancing
though
this man has
difficult
done,
and
he has leveled up that
imperfectly
skill tree to
executed,
its maximum potential.
became
So you
an
would think with
imperative
all of this
act
pandering and
of
all of this
restoring
tap dancing,
justice.
he would have by
A
now
necessary
earned his
step
spot at the
toward
table. He's a highly
reclaiming
educated
what was
man,
lost
right?
and
He has put in the work, he has
ownership,
spent the money,
pride,
and he's been doing
and
it for a very long
economic
time.
independence
You would think
for the
that
people of
if the
Zimbabwe.
Republican Party really cares about
There is
values
danger
and
in the
culture
single
and all that.
narrative.
You remember when Nick Fuentes went on that
Where one
rant
story
talking about how
becomes
black
the only
people aren't
story.
irredeemable, as if to
There was a
say
land
that
reform
the
era in the
problem
early
with
2000s,
black
late 90s,
people
early
and the black
2000s in
culture
Zimbabwe,
is the way that we
where,
are and the
people
way
could
that
come
we
and take your
behave.
land
And if we
with
just changed
Some
our
white farmers
culture,
have
we
said
just
that
changed
if
our
you do take the land
values
without
and
compensation, that
behave
amounts to
differently,
just state-sanctioned
all of
robbery.
these white racists
Well, that's
wouldn't
exactly
be
what
racist
they did
anymore, and they would
themselves.
embrace us with
When
open
they
arms.
do it,
really do
the question
believe-
of
look,
human
I don't- I
rights is
think
not
black
raised.
people are not
When we do
irredeemable.
it, the question of
But there
human
just needs to
rights
be brutal
is
honesty.
raised.
It's like, look,
It's a question of justice.
these black people are really struggling, and they're turning
And
into these
so
maniacs.
we had all of our neighbors killed,
It
murdered,
seems like they
tortured.
don't do anything right.
Human rights
They're
reports
obnoxious, they're
documented
rude,
12
they're
total
inconsiderate,
fatalities among white farmers in
aggressive,
Zimbabwe during the land
cruel,
occupations.
And look,
Murdered,
nobody
and
hates
my dad was
black
out of the
people
picture.
for
So it was
being
just
black.
me, my mother,
if
and my
there
little
are people
sister
like that,
living
I
on
think
this
that's
farm in
exceedingly
rural
rare.
Africa.
And I
One
don't
day,
consider myself
they
one of
came
them.
and knocked on our door. They had
I
guns.
hate
And I think because it was a
so
single
much
mother with two
about
kids, instead
the
of just
things
killing us
that
on
you
the
choose
spot,
to be.
they were like,
Well,
"You have
here we
24
have a
hours to leave
case
or we're
study with
taking you."
somebody who isn't even black. He is closer in whiteness in the eyes of white people
No
than
women
even
nor
the black
children were
people, right?
killed.
These Indians. And so you would think that they,
And
you
I
feel
was
me?
14, so I ran
They would
upstairs.
be
I got my
embraced. Let's
22
see what
rifle, I
happened
got
to
my
a guy
knife
like
and put it on
Dinesh
my belt, and I
D'Souza.
ran
What is
downstairs. I was like, "Let's
recently
fucking go."
happening
And my mom slapped me across
is
the
that
face.
there's
She's like,
been,
"Back your things
I
and
don't
get
know,
in the
there's
car."
been an awakening.
Really?
That's the
Okay.
best way
All
to
right, what
describe
happened?
it.
There
Because
were
you have people
occupiers
like
on
Dinesh
stolen
who are
land.
now crying, okay? They are crying because there are attacks on Indian people that are
We left,
happening.
we fled Zimbabwe and came to America with a couple $100.
His story is not the full story.
From from the right. And you want to know who their scapegoat is?
Seizing land from the original people, indigenous people of the country. But we agreed at Lancaster House that there would be land reform.
That's what you have to understand. So when I see people like Brandon Talmud and the rest of them, it's going to be very difficult for someone to turn down a paycheck. It's not going to happen. You have people, you know, criticizing Matt Walsh. You have people criticizing Michael Knowles and whatnot, and they're saying, hey, you should just leave the Daily Wire and start your own thing. You listen, it's a little hard when you become an adult, especially if they have kids and they have families, to turn down a paycheck, despite it being in your vested interest as a group, as a whole,
Zimbabweans
to do so.
are a
Make your money
peaceful and resilient
But the problem
people.
now is that
Even
people are turning on the likes of Dinesh, Kunda Zones, and the rest of them. And the reason being is that they're racist.
The dominant portrayals
That's the reason being.
They
tokens always get
ignore
spent.
this truth.
Their entire time trying to uplift and trying to be a shield for these racists, all to turn around and now get bit by the racist dog that they were trying to protect.
And the deep desire.
Now the racist said, you know what, I'm going to beat you.
And progress.
I'm going to beat you and throw you out of here, okay? Because I don't even need you anymore.
Is not one of failure. It is one of endurance.
He puts out a post talking about look at the abuse that Vivek is getting, okay? Look at
stands tall in history, its land and its people. And Zimbabwean people deserve to develop in peace with unity, dignity, and the opportunity to thrive. For generations, Zimbabweans lived on their land with dignity, prosperity, and harmony. Long before colonization, the people of Zimbabwe built thriving communities, rich agricultural systems, and strong cultural traditions that held families together and the nation together. Land was more than soil. It was identity, security, and the foundation of the Zimbabwean peoples. When colonization dispossessed the majority, it tore apart this balance. Land reform, though difficult and imperfectly executed, became an imperative act of restoring justice, a necessary step toward reclaiming what was lost and rebuilding ownership, pride, and economic people of Zimbabwe.
There is danger in the single narrative, where one story becomes the only story.
There was a land reform era in the late 90s, early 2000s in Zimbabwe, where people could come and take your land with guns.
Some white farmers have said that if you do take the land without compensation, that amounts to just state-sanctioned robbery.
Well, that's exactly what they did themselves. When they do it, the question of human rights is not raised. When we do it, the question of human rights is raised. It's a question of justice.
And so we had all of our neighbors killed, murdered, tortured.
Human rights reports documented 12 total fatalities among white farmers in Zimbabwe during the land occupations.
And my dad was out of the picture. So it was just me, my mother, and my little sister living on this farm in rural Africa. One day, they came and knocked on our mother with 2 kids. Instead of just killing us on the spot, they were like, you have 24 hours to leave or we're taking it.
No women nor children were killed.
And I was 14, so I ran a knife and put it on my belt, and I ran downstairs. I thought, let's fucking go. And my mom slapped me across the face, and she's like, pack your things and get in the car.
His mom knew they were occupiers on stolen land.
So we left. We fled Zimbabwe and came to America with a couple $100.
His story is not the full story.
Seizing land from the original people, indigenous people of the country. But we agreed at Lancaster House that there would be land reform.
When the first white settlers trekked in about 90 years ago, they were not unlike the American settlers who moved west a little earlier. The idea of the little house on the prairie is as African as it is American.
Cecil Rhodes really is a historical figure, another hero. Is there any settlers that take anything by farming? That's never done. It means all through.
Zimbabweans are a peaceful and resilient people. Even in hardship, they have remained hopeful, united, and determined to build their own future. The dominant portrayals in mainstream media often ignore this truth: the warmth of the communities, the strength of the farmers, the brilliance of the youth, and the deep desire for development and progress. Zimbabwe's story is not one failure. It is one of its identity and the ongoing journey toward a nation that stands tall in its land and its people. And Zimbabwean people deserve with unity, dignity, and the opportunity to thrive. Zimbabweans lived on their land with dignity, prosperity, and colonization. The people of Zimbabwe built thriving communities, rich agricultural and cultural traditions that held families together and the nation together. Land was more than soil. It was identity, security, and the foundation of the Zimbabwean peoples. When colonization dispossessed the majority, it tore apart this balance. Land reform, though difficult and imperfectly executed, became an imperative act of restoring justice, a necessary step toward reclaiming what was lost and rebuilding ownership, pride, and economic independence for the people of Zimbabwe.
There is danger in the single narrative, where one story becomes the only story.
There was a land reform era in the late 90s, early 2000s in Zimbabwe, where people could come and take your land with guns.
Some white farmers have said that if you do take the land without compensation, that amounts to just state-sanctioned robbery.
Well, that's exactly what they did themselves. When they do it, the question of human rights is not raised. It's raised. It's a question of justice.
And so we had all of our neighbors killed, murdered, tortured.
Human rights reports documented 12 total fatalities among white farmers.